Hello everyone, this is bullet journal number 4 of 5 pocket bullet journals that started my let's go with journey through planning and bullet journaling and journaling. These days I've split the two up, but back in these heady days of like big life changes and whatnot, I was using these little pocket guys. So this is my 4th pocket-sized bullet journal, my 4th ever bullet journal, and it's the 3rd of my Leuchtturms in this hardback pocket edition. As you can see, I've already used 3 different colours. We've had purple, blue and this colour. They really do have a good range and I do like that in a company. No idea how ethical they are. Oh, and also, would you like to meet my cat? He's here. Say hello, Sam. Who's a pussycat? Right, I'm now putting you back on the wobbly music stand. Wish me luck. Grand. So with this one, I thought we'd do the usual. We'd go through the monthly themes because I'm always quite proud of just how nice they make my life. It's like having nice brain furniture. I'm also going to look at the meal trackers that I did every week. Why am I crossing these out? I haven't done them yet. And then that's how I do it, by the way. If I accidentally cross something out, I put another bullet there so I don't forget it altogether. And then finally, this is the bullet journal at the end of which I had a massive planner crisis. Such a crisis that just now, thinking about it, I couldn't actually write the word crisis. So yeah, that'll be fun. I think that's the main focus for this bullet journal, to make this useful and interesting for complete strangers on the internet. So as before, I wanted a theme that kind of went with the outside. Doesn't really match, I'd say, but I chose a Celtic theme. These are hand drawn because I hadn't discovered stamps yet. I did love this though. That's copied from the Book of Kells. Or at least from something on Pinterest claiming to be from the Book of Kells. There's my index as always, so we've got that 3-page Leuchtturm index. I never quite finish it, but I do use it really quite heavily. And my key, which I went a bit over the top there with the Celtic decoration and stuff. Now, my future log was clearly done on holiday, as you can tell. So the first month I was going to use this was really September, and it was in August on holiday in the west of Ireland, like last year, that we had loads of time sitting around. So I copied some Celtic letters first, and then by the time I got to August the following year, I started to make up my own. So they're a bit more free form, a bit less authentic, but they're still cute. And I was still copying the little dragon guys. And then all my typical reference spreads that I put at the beginning of all of my bullet journals so far, I just converted them into Irish and did them in the Unseal script, which is the Irish script as it was before Anglicisation. And so I did them in the Unseal script with a marker and then outlined it with a fine liner, so I think it looks nice. I've got my 8 points of the Wheel of the Year as always, and it's all in Irish as well, sorry. So An Bliain Sechuing means next year, Leint of Fiesta means feast days, Leint of Breha, birthdays, all the months, so including Samhain, Mina Sauna, Brunthnus, presents, Lower, books, Cart Shoppadorot. I definitely googled cart, and I'm not sure real Irish people would actually say that. The reason this year my shopping list has these multicolored dots is get a load of this system. I did use this, you know. It was to save me thinking time. So basically, I would open up this shopping cart Shoppadorot, and then these were my recipes at the end. So I'd pick the colour. So say I wanted to make broccoli quiche, and that was that colour. And the ingredients for that all have that colour on them. Isn't that cool? It's such a neat idea. It's clear to see why I didn't use it in future bullet journals. It takes bloody forever to set this up. But these days I have an equivalent system on my phone where I have a different note for each recipe and with the ingredients on it. So this is thought shelves, and same as last time, I did make myself pre-made boxes that I could put my errant thoughts into, so I didn't have to hold them in my brain. But I didn't use it as much as the year before. Quran. Oh, yeah, again, never used that word before. Perfume and music. Again, I didn't use these lists as much as I could have. I taught myself, still I'm trying to teach myself Thai writing. My Thai speaking is getting better, but my writing is, I'm still illiterate, but I will try, I'll keep trying. Sprukken Abaha, life goals, Amlista, spree, just, yeah, well, whatever, all in Irish. Cleaning list, lots of experiments, and here we come to the first month's spread. Is that true? Yeah. So, Man 4, which is September. Yeah, so like I said, it started in September. My theme for September, I wanted to keep it really simple. The reason that bird is still there is that he's left over from August, because this is still August. So I wanted to keep it simple. I'm still using my big boxes across 1.5 pages. I really loved that layout, and I would go back to that if I ever felt like drawing out my own weekly spreads again. But these days I think that's for suckers, and I'm a Hobonichi Weeks girl for the moment. This is how I logged all my meals. So I not only logged what I ate, I like to keep a record of who cooked it or who we ate with. So if it has a little X, that's because my partner cooked that. He lives with me now and he cooks way more than I do, which is nice. So it's nice to look back at these and remember I did actually cook more once. Then we got a bit more complex, and I used this, or more fancy should I say, and I used this theme sticker kit from Little Rainbow Moon, which I really love. It's like insects and botanicals, and I liked that a lot. Let me check my list of things to discuss. What was I going to do? Meal trackers I've spoken about, and the planner crisis. Well, yeah, I mean, I'll just show you the themes for the rest of these months. So November was this peacock theme, which I tried to match with the markers I used. My saving and spending still hadn't evolved, so you can see I didn't really use it that much. You can tell I've had a day where I really wanted to go on the warpath and get lots done when you see a list like this. And as I've mentioned before, I now no longer want to keep these lists. Like, I don't feel I need to look back at those to-do lists. Those are the executive branch. So I'm still working on my planner system, still loving my weekly spread, and I will always have a fondness for having one corner of a weekly spread, well, balanced if possible, but one corner that is decorated. You might remember I was doing this kind of 4-point reflection based on my 4 New Year's resolutions for this year, which was, what was it again? 2018 even. Yeah. Sometimes I would lay out the spread and then just never use it. So that's what happened there. December, this is when things started to fall apart with my bullet journaling, because maybe it was just time for a change. So I still did my spread. I used this lovely sort of geometric, quite trendy at the time, wasn't it? Do you remember those geometric animals that were everywhere? So I used these little guys. I had a Yule party, and I didn't thank everyone for coming afterwards, but I wanted to. If anyone I know happens to watch my ridiculous YouTube channel, I'm very grateful for you coming to my parties. And then it stopped. I didn't do my December reflection. It looks like I even tore pages out here. So what did happen? Well, I set up January, but I was at home in Ireland, ruminating as one does. God, I used all these stickers for a system that I then stopped using. Well, anyway, while ruminating at home in Ireland, in the Leuchtturm, what do you say in English? In the old country, maybe? Sounds really twee. Anyway, while ruminating, this is what was in my brain. I just became completely obsessed with pictures I found on the internet, you know, proper consumerist stuff, of ring planners. So I started planning out for pages and pages what I would need and how. That's something different. But then I went back to it, blah, 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 blah. And endless designing and planning. And then in the middle I completely reorganised my mum's house, and that was how I planned that. She's still not sure if I did it to her liking, but I liked it so. And it was very well organised, much more logical. But most of this is just me obsessing over ring planners. So I did then, in fact, you can see this is May, right? This back here was January. So what happened in between here was the aborted Filofax period. I now know that what I need is a single unified journaling system, which these days is, hang on a sec, I'll show you. These days I use this size of Leuchtturm. Doesn't even fit on the screen the way I have this set up. So I use the A5 Leuchtturm, and I'll do flip throughs of these soon. I absolutely adore these. I've got my third one set up in my Dakaska case made of cork leather, which I have already filmed a video about. So I'll talk about journaling separately, but I didn't have that system at the time, so I tried to use Filofax for both journaling and planning. I now know I need a separate journaling system and a separate planning system, at least one. I say need. You guys, if you're watching this, you know as well as I do. It's not so much a need, it's more like a nerdy, is it a need? Discuss. Anyway, so I stopped until May that year, and then I came back into the bullet journal and did this kind of very simple, quite cute bullet journaling, a bit like what I had done before. And then it just got even worse. I was trying to use a fancy ballpoint pen that really didn't, it was just blobby and gross, and it just made me really unhappy. And so that's why you have things like this where I've just stopped. Horrible lines. I mean, it looks like I was drunk when I did this, and I wasn't, so I don't know what's going on. So yes, that was that. I then, during this month of May, I set up my next and final 5th mini bullet journal, which I will show you in my next video. But long story short, I lasted for one more of these little books and then switched to the Hobo Weeks with much delight and happiness. So now my creative slash brain emptying journaling happens in another place, and my planning and mental organisation happens for now in the Hobo Weeks, although I have just bought this second hand, so yeah, that's all ahead of me. So, dear fellow planner nerds and the odd person who has wandered in, do let me know what you think of my travails and troubles in the comments, and I look forward to geeking out with you about my last bullet journal in my next video. Goodbye for now.